Hi everyone, we're back to Dead Rising! That's it. Thanks, Royce. I think I said your name, Ryan. Ugh. Whoa! Man, not even a minute in, we've already butchered the commentary. How's that for progress? Once bitten, don't want to do. Art appreciation, we're gonna go for that. Trying to save that dude there if we can get there in time. It might be tight. Speaking of tight things, I had a new conversation topic. Whoa, look at that segue. Smooth transition. Okay, well, let me be real here. So, a shovel. That's the most real thing we'll see this episode. Actually, want the baseball bat. So, I don't know if you guys know what a celiac is. And that's basically someone who can't eat gluten, for those of you who don't know. And then, if you're still unsure what I'm talking about, basically they can't eat wheat. So, things like bread,
Yes.
and bread-like substances are off limits to them.
Frank, it looks like there's someone cooking at Cucina Donaci in the food court.
Ooh.
Better check it out.
Okay, that's gonna be a tough fight. I don't know if we're gonna do that yet. We'll do it later. I don't know if I'm equipped for that though. That's gonna be a tough fight. And some of you guys might be thinking, what's he even talking about? I'm like, no, I can't tell you, man. It's just gonna be nasty. Well, let's focus on art appreciation first, try and get there, and then from there we'll fight Antoine. Oh, that's gonna be nasty. So why do I bring up celiacs? Well, I was thinking, because like they're celiacs. Well, let me say first, like there's many things I want to say about this, which I don't know why I do that. It's like, well, let me explain that there's a lot of things I want to talk about. It's like, well, how about I just talk about them? That's something I'm gonna have to work on. Anyways, enough about the self-analysis. So for celiacs, if they eat like gluten, like wheat-based substances, like they can get like very sick or like die, right? Depending how bad they have it. Not everyone has the same degree. Like some people, like they eat it and they just get a little bit sick, but like it's not life-threatening. Whereas others, it's very bad, right? So what I was thinking about was like, so I used to work at a coffee shop, and we used to have gluten-free options for those people who are celiacs. So in case they wanted to have dessert, it's like we had a gluten-free dessert. Now, one thing I should mention too is like, me myself, I think that gluten items taste better than gluten-free. So like having bread that has no wheat in it usually doesn't taste that good. That being said, there are some gluten-free foods which taste incredible. Like, don't write them off as like, oh, they all taste horrible. Some of them actually taste really good. But that being said, there was also a fad where people were like, oh, we should eat gluten-free stuff because it's healthier or something for us. Like, I'm not really sure what the fad was. I just know that there was a fad. It'd be like me saying, like, I know that some kids are into Pokemon, but I don't know why they're into Pokemon, which I think is a lie, because I think I have a pretty good idea why people are into Pokemon. I like Pokemon too. If you like Pokemon, that's great. I'm not bashing you. Heck, I play Pokemon as well, and, you know, I'd probably be playing more Pokemon. Right now, it's just, like, for me, there's so many things to do. But for, like, this whole, like, gluten-free trend, that's not something I did. That's, like... And here's why I didn't do it. Is because I want to drink this vodka in peace. Leave me alone. Okay, we're good. So what happens if... So let's say we have a bunch of people who are on the fad of eating gluten-free stuff, and they go to, say, the coffee shop, and they order gluten-free food. Now, keep in mind, these people who are on the fad, they can eat gluten, they just choose not to. But yet they go to the coffee store, and then they eat all the gluten-free stuff, and then someone who's a celiac comes over, and, like, then there's nothing for them to eat, right? Now, I think there's multiple parts to this analysis. One of which being that the celiac can, like, eat at home if they want to. Like, I think someone would say, well, they shouldn't have to rely on the restaurant for their dietary needs. And I think that is actually a fair point. Do you want a hockey stick? Yeah, I'll grab a hockey stick. So, you might be saying, okay, it doesn't matter what the other people there order, because, you know, the celiac should be in charge of themselves. Like, okay, fine, but the point I would like to make, though, is like, wouldn't it be considerate for the people who are on the gluten-free fad to pursue it in their own time? Because there's some people out there who need some help, or I got tried by this guy.
I'm stuck in a zombie.
$3,000? That's actually not bad.
Just saying.
All right, can you give me the hockey stick?
Well, I appreciate it. Keep up.
You better. Is this vodka? It's wine. Good enough. All right, so we need to take this guy back to the safe house. So we'll set the marker. Map aerial. Dang, we had to go quite a ways. There we go. And let's go down the stairs. Okay, and I got some food for him, so he should be okay. And let's get out of here. Okay, Randolph, don't die on me. So, on one hand, we have, okay, well, like, if they're going to a restaurant, that's kind of like luxury eating anyways. I think that's an argument. I think that's a fair argument. Okay, for the sake of the argument, though, let's just say that's the assumption that we have. That the restaurant's like, just like, or the coffee shop in this case, that's luxury dining, so it's not like they're entitled to it. And I think that's something we need to consider, is that if they're not entitled to the food, then does the whole argument become moot? And let's say, for the sake of the argument, they're entitled. And before I go on further, I think, in actuality, I don't think anyone's entitled to anything. So, like, now that I think about it, I don't think the celiac is entitled to the gluten-free options at the coffee shop just because they go there, right? Like, I think they have to accept that sometimes they will be out of gluten-free stuff. It's like, if I went to the convenience store and I wanted to buy a Snickers bar and they were out of Snickers, the world doesn't owe me that the convenience store will have a Snicker bars on sale. Sometimes they'll go there and they'll just be out of stock. Or like, say if we're like buying a video game and it's out of stock. Let's say we're trying to buy Pokemon Sun or Pokemon Moon and get to the store and it's out of stock. Does that mean I've been like personally wrong? It's like, no, it just means that people like bought it out, right? But see, part of me wants to say is like, well, that's a little bit different because there's no malicious intent behind buying the Pokemon Sun and the Pokemon Moon, because everyone wants to enjoy the same game. Like, it doesn't matter who you are, hypothetically speaking. Is like, if you're buying a game, chances are you're probably gonna enjoy it, or at least you're buying it with the intent of enjoying it, and you're not cheating anyone out of their own experience. I don't think I'm saying it quite the way I wanted to. Whereas, hypothetically speaking, the people who are on the gluten-free trend, they're denying people of an experience that's harder for them to fulfill. So, for a celiac, getting a dessert that's gluten-free isn't necessarily easy. Like, for them, they have the problem of scarcity. And I guess a better analogy would be for the video game example. Let's consider that again. Let's consider, say, we have a bunch of E-rated games, so games are for everyone, and then we have a bunch of M-rated games. So, like, say, like Diablo and like Grand Theft Auto and stuff. And let's say we have two customers. A, we have a little kid, and B, we have me. I'm gonna be the villain in this story. So the little kid, he can only play Pokemon because that's the only game that's acceptable for his age group, because it's rated E for everyone. But I'm the guy who can play anything in the store, and like, I'm, you know, playing Diablo has just as much appeal to me for playing Pokemon. Now, based off my logic about the whole celiac thing, theoretically speaking, I'm the villain for buying a Pokemon game instead of playing an M-rated or buying an M-rated game, simply because there's less options for the smaller kid, so I should be respectful of what he wants. Now, obviously, the analogy doesn't quite translate, because you might say, it's like, well, there's a ton of games everywhere. Like, there's more than just, like, Pokemon. But, again, for this example, let's just pretend that there's only, like, 12 games in the store for some reason. And then, like, 9 of them are rated M for mature, and 3 of them are rated for everyone, right? So there's only 3 options for like small children, whereas for someone like me, we have like 12 options, right? So is it wrong that I would go and buy a Pokemon game, even though it restricts the amount of choice that someone else has? Is that necessarily wrong? And it's like, well, let's consider it for a minute.
Come on.
If I have the intention to play Pokemon, that's what I really want. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, because, like, hey, I just want to play some Pokemon. Like, maybe that kid, like, you can say to him, well, maybe he should show up earlier. Well, see, and I still feel dirty for saying that, right? Yeah, you're welcome, Randolph. Don't bother me again. What time is it? Okay, we're gonna actually save, because if I'm gonna fight the chef... Yeah, it's gonna be a tough fight. And I want to make sure I save beforehand, because he will probably actually kill me. Actually, I don't know if I can fight him. I need a weapon. Or, like, I need a gun. I'll ponder this. I might end the episode just before I fight him. We'll see. I don't know. The reason why I'm like so hesitant is because like this boss that I'm about to do, he is tough. Like I did it in co-op, and like it was fine in co-op because you have 2 people, and that really makes your job a lot easier. But man, if just one person, it's nasty. So going back to my example, like for the celiac, or the person on the gluten-free fad, if they really want gluten-free brownies because it tastes like the best for them, I think that's more okay. And now I remember what I was actually saying beforehand is that we're gonna get a new bat. That's not what I was saying, but sometimes like I might say, okay, well maybe the kid should get to the store earlier to buy the game that he wants. Like, well, I don't agree with that, because oftentimes I find that there's circumstances that affects people's ability to not make choices, but like just live their life, right? Like, so maybe like what happens if the kid, like, he was gonna be at the store first, but then like he's riding his bike and his bike got a flat tire. That I would say, like, well, that's kind of beyond his control, right? So should we not condemn him for that, but should we say, oh, like, tough luck, kid? Or like, should we say, oh, you should have done something better? Like, I'm getting into a whole different argument here, so I'm just gonna stop it short. But I think most people would say is like, well, if I'm at the store, I want to play Pokemon, and that's because like I really want that. There's like, yeah, no problem. Like, it might suck for the kid that there might be no more E-rated games for him to play, but for me, it's like I wanted to play Pokemon, so it's like I shouldn't feel bad for wanting to do that. Now, however, if I bought the Pokemon game with the intention to like screw the kid out of, you know, playing Pokemon, that's different. That's actually like malicious intent, and for me, like, that's not cool, man. We need to pick up a handgun too if we can. I'll keep my eyes peeled, because we really do need a weapon and heal up too. We can do that there though. Yeah, that's probably our base bet. Or let's see if like I'm on like I want to play a Pokemon game just because I want to be a part of the Pokemon fad. Like, not because I'm really interested in playing the game, but because I want to like keep up social appearances. For me, I take a little bit more issue with that too, because it's kind of like, well, that's just it. Like, I just have different priorities than some other people. Like, some people value fitting in to social norms quite a bit. Others are like me. It's kind of like, that's fine, but it's not really what we need. Here's, I think, what we do. We take the whiskey. We have the handgun, so we're gonna need this. Take the whiskey, put this in here, grab pizza. Oh, what the? No, don't want that. We want the pizza. There's a lot of zombies here. I'm not okay at this. No, grab the quick step. Yes, there you go. And we're gonna grab the handgun as well. The handgun, I think, will be very important, and I think you guys will see momentarily. And finally, again, going back to the celiac thing, if they're buying the celiac food items, like the gluten-free stuff, just to be spiteful, I'm not okay with that. But I think most people are kind of like, well, yeah, like, being malicious is typically not a cool thing. But then it's like, if they're buying it to just be part of a fad, I don't agree with that, but I don't think that necessarily means that it's wrong, right? Like, again, I think it all depends on intention. Like, if they just want the brownie because this just freaking tastes amazing, awesome. Like, I think that's okay. But again, like, for me, I'd be like, when I would go into this cob store, I'd be like, okay, I should be considerate of those people who can't necessarily eat gluten-free items because, like, you know, my stepmom's a celiac, like, she can't eat gluten, so, like, I know about the struggles, so because I have that experience, I think I treat those situations a little differently. Where's the washroom? 'Cause I'm very interested in saving this before we go there. Doesn't appear that there is a washroom. Washroom's there. Okay, well... Shoot, man. Oh, actually, we have checkpoints. Okay. So, here's actually what we're going to do. I'm going to end the episode here, right now, and we're going to do this in the next episode. So, until then, I'll see you guys later. Bye!